Hello everyone, welcome back to your 10 to 1 daily update where we're reeling in all things fishing in 10 minutes or less right here in one spot. I'm your host Mike Anderson. Today is Tuesday, March 1st. That's right, the month of spring is finally upon us. As always, I'm excited to be here with all of you again today. Now, South Carolina's Lake Murray hosted the third full weekend of the Realtree Fishing KBF Trail and KBF Pro Series tournaments on February 26th and 27th this past weekend. Now, the weather leading up to the events was hot, and the lake bite had been hot for weeks leading into the event, but with a cold front approaching during tournament time, what could be expected? There were questions about how the bass would react. Those questions were answered by KBF anglers who posted big limits as large field of competitors battled for points and prizes all weekend long. Now, Trail 1, Pro Series Day 1, Saturday, February 26th. The Realtree Fishing KBF Trail 1, presented by DZ and Dakota Lithium Powered, started with mild temperatures and a hot bite on Saturday morning. Within the first 30 minutes of competition time, 4 of the top 5 anglers on the leaderboard were averaging over 18 inches per fish. Michael Thornton had the early lead with 39 3/4, and the tone for the day was set. Anglers would need to sustain comparable averages per fish in order to contend. Now, 1 hour into competition time, Jason Isaacs had the lead. South Carolina angler and current far-wide KBF AOY leader Jason Broach also made a run and was in second place. But by the end of the first 3 hours of tournament time, Isaacs had sustained and extended his pace with a 82 3/4 inch limit, while Catch Pro Dusty Yacker, who had a harrowing event at Murray in 2021, kept pace in second with 81 1/4, and Dylan Fakwa not far behind. The standings on the KBF Pro Series were also lighting up with fish limits. Now, one of them, a 76-inch bag posted earlier by Jeremy Heath, would signal the start of Heath's momentous run. Heath had been hovering around the top 5 during the first 3 hours of competition. Now, between third and fourth hour, 9:30 to 10:30, he jumped from that 76-inch limit to 5 fish to first place and a 100.5-inch bag. In sum, he upgraded each and every fish by nearly 5 inches. John Tibbins, Ryan Nye, Michael Thornton, and Dusty Yacker filled out the top 5 at the halfway point, and the question, would they be able to catch him? The Dakota Lithium Big Bass leaderboard would play a role in any run. Now, Corey Dreyer held first place with a 23.5-inch monster, with Tibbins 22 3/4 in second. Would Tibbins find another to challenge Heath? Tibbins would manage considerable upgrades of quality fish, enough to make a run at Heath. With 2 hours of competition time left remaining, Tibbins had moved up to 98 1/4 inches. Now, despite Tibbins' heroic effort, Heath emerged the victor. In the KBF award ceremony the next day, Heath mentioned spinnerbaits as his bait. He started the morning off in the same spot and broke a 22-inch bass off. Spent a few hours catching 12-inch fish, but in the last hour, he upgraded the 12-inch he had to a 15 1/4, and in the last 5 minutes, he landed a 16-inch fish that called as well. Now, in an exclusive interview with KBF, Heath, who is on the native pro team, elaborated, "I was throwing a true south spinnerbait in an area with a lot of laydowns. The fish were holding tight to the cover. I caught my biggest bass, a 22 3/4 inch, casting right into the middle of a laydown. That fish jumped and I almost had a heart attack," Heath said. Now, when it was over, Heath had his biggest payday, more than $5,000 since winning the native No Limit event back in 2021. And it wasn't over yet, as the KBF Pro Series would be decided the following day. Now, Trail 2 Pro Series Day 2 on Sunday, February 27th. The Real Tree Fishing KBF Trail 2, presented by DZ and powered by Dakota Lithium, began at Lake Murray on Sunday morning, February 27th, with colder, rainier conditions as a cold front intensified the region, adding a new twist to the elements anglers faced. Now, after 1/4 of competition time, Ryan Nye led the pack with 86 inches. Charles Miser was in second place, an inch behind the leader, and Jason Broach was in third with 83 1/4. All eyes were on Broach, who set atop the far-wide KBF AOI leaderboard after a strong finish on Saturday, Trail 1 stop. Now, shortly after 9 a.m., Broach upgraded with a 21-inch bass and took the lead with 88 1/2. Nye quickly responded with an upgrade to retake the lead by a half-inch margin. Now, Broach and Nye both exchanged upgrades over the next hour, as they also exchanged the top spot on the leaderboard, back and forth, back and forth. But on Sunday, Ryan Matalewicz landed a 23 3/4-inch monster bass and took the top spot away from Corey Dreyer on the Dakota Lithium Big Bass leaderboard. Now, Ryan Matalewicz added his name to the mix by posting a 23 3/4-inch tank on the Big Bass leaderboard at roughly the halfway point and climbed to 4th place. Now, 2 other anglers also entered the conversation. Lee Ward took over 1st place, and then Rob Braun, who had been in the 5th place, jumped ahead of Broach and Nye into 3rd. Now, at the noon top of the hour, 5 were Ward, 1st, Broach, Nye, Matalewicz, and Braun in 5th. At 1 p.m., everything changed. A KBF veteran, Jackson Kayak Pro, Josh Stewart, posted a 94 1/2 limit that shook up the standings. Braun had been gaining ground on Ward, but now he needed to bite into Stewart's lead, too. With 2 hours remaining, anything could happen, as the top 6 were separated by thin margins. And in the end, Stewart's limit held to the win and picked up a massive payday with over $5,000, and Mataluewicz's huge bass won $500 for the Big Bass Award of the day. Now, Ward finished 2nd, and Braun took home the 3rd place KBF Trail Trophy. At the KBF Awards ceremony, Stewart said that, "I figured out a little something yesterday and caught all my fish on a shaky head at the same cove." Now, on Sunday, the Trail 1 and 2 winners were in contention to win the KBF Pro Series, and it was Heath who prevailed, winning the custom KBF Pro Series trophy made by Catch Products Incorporated. Now, looking ahead for KBF, now with dominant back-to-back weekends at Kissimmee and at Murray, Jason Broach has restated his case as the leader in the Far-Wide Angler of the Year chase. Now, other anglers are near him in the standings, but the alternating West Coast, East Coast trails of the 2022 mean that Chris Spencer, his primary challenger on the West Coast, will have a chance to match Broach in both the KBF Trail Series and Pro Series on Lake Roosevelt in mid-March. Now, thank you for tuning in, everybody. That's been your 10-to-1 update today. Please follow along all things KBF. Check out Kayak Bass Fishing. Jump over to their Facebook page, Kayak Bass Fishing, for all the complete updates and standings. We'll tune in next time as they hit Roosevelt Lake out in Arizona. Keep tabs on those Trail and Pro Series as well as the AOY standings. That's it for today. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. And as always, tight lines.